Lisa Bonet explains what happened with Jason Momoa. Denise Huxtable, Lisa Bonet's character, was a pivotal figure in the enduring NBC sitcom The Cosby Show, which propelled her to prominence. She subsequently broke the hearts of women across the United States in 2005 when she began dating Jason Momoa, one of the most sought-after Hollywood hunks in the world. However, what prompted the convergence of these two public figures? The complete account of how the two met, became romantically involved, and ultimately let down millions of hopeful hearts by deciding to go their separate ways is detailed here. Initially cited. Although they'd first encountered each other in person in 2005, it was not entirely the initial encounter that he had with her. After all, her role on NBC brought her immense fame. She recalled that huge love descended upon them upon their first meeting. However, rather than fleeing, she described how he appeared to lift her up and throw me over his shoulder like a caveman. That should come as no surprise, given those muscles. Lisa would later reveal that one of the initial things that captivated her was his caveman-like demeanor. Initial break. Lisa Bonet received her acting training at the renowned Celluloid Actors Studio in Hollywood. However, she debuted in commercials at the tender age of 11. In 1984, however, her entire universe was irrevocably altered. Life would never be the same, as she was cast in her breakthrough role as Denise Huxtable that same year. She appeared in over 100 episodes of the popular program in total. Being an immediately well-liked individual, she ultimately secured her own television series. Exhibition of Own. 4 years after her debut on The Cosby Show, her spin-off A Different World was released in 1987. The series, which centered on Denise's absence to attend college, came to an abrupt end due to the release of unanticipated news. Bonet would be written off of the television series based on her persona shortly after filming its 20-odd episodes. However, what reasonably could have caused that to occur? Remain gone. The character Bonet was eliminated from A Different World when the producers discovered she was expectant. Later that year, she gave birth to her daughter and took a period of leave to focus on being a new mother. In fact, the actress returned to The Cosby Show in 1988, the subsequent year. She departed the program in the early 1990s to pursue a career in film acting, co-starring with Will Smith in the 1998 film Enemy of the State. Establishing a film. 21% of the way through her first feature film, Bonet co-starred alongside John Cusack in the 2000 romantic comedy drama High Fidelity. She reprised her role as Queenie in Biker Boys the following year, after portraying Heather LaLache in the made-for-television film Laugh of Heaven in 2002. But after experiencing the distinctions between film and television, she resolved to return to the source of the matter, the television screen in American living rooms. Nonetheless, that does not imply that she was done with film wholly. The actress stated, "I desire to produce more film, more beauty, more art, and more love, but I do not feel desperate. The focus is not on establishing or developing a professional trajectory." Linked up. Lenny Kravitz first encountered Bonet when he was in no way the legendary musician that he has since become universally recognized. In 1989, she collaborated with him on a number of compositions for his debut studio album, Let Love Rule. In the same year, an incident was detailed by an LA Times reporter wherein Lenny was erroneously identified as Mr. Bonet, which contributed to the wild speculation that the two individuals were destined to be together. A few years later, in 1993, the couple made public their decision to end their relationship. Notwithstanding the initial frenzy, Bonet and Kravitz wed shortly after beginning their courtship. Bonet disclosed to Ebony magazine that their time together was intellectually and spiritually accelerated. By contrast, her approach towards her second spouse was markedly more measured. They were not married for a full 12 years. Later, Momoa, her second spouse, stated that he had immediately deemed Bonet the one since their first meeting, whereas Bonet may not have initially shared this sentiment. While praising his ex-wife, Kravitz acknowledged that their previous partnership underwent significant changes during their youth, but he maintains that neither party has any remorse. The union between them produced their daughter, Zoe Kravitz. Kravitz characterized their present dynamic in an interview with People as that of a sibling and sister, placing particular emphasis on the constructive development of their co-parenting partnership. Growing up prominent. A possibly variegated upbringing contributed to Zoe's extraordinary prowess as an actor. Growing up as the progeny of an incredibly successful actress and an iconic musician must have been quite a journey. Leather pants and a netted shirt were frequently on Kravitz's person when he arrived to collect Zoe up from school. During a period when the family was residing in New York City, he once withdrew her from school in order to accompany her on a month-long vacation to the Bahamas. Certainly, she had a fascinating upbringing. Reacting to changes. Life transpires, notwithstanding one's preponderance or financial resources and acclimated way of life. Bonet and her daughter were compelled to live on the streets in 1994 due to the catastrophic damage caused by an earthquake to their residence. Although her mother was fortunately able to assist them, it remained a tumultuous period for everyone. "We were literally camping out," Bonet later disclosed. With the assistance of family and friends, they were fortunately able to quickly recover and get back on their feet. Catch and release. Kravitz disclosed in a 2013 Oprah masterclass that he and Bonet shared a magical relationship and were deeply in love. Nevertheless, despite their efforts, it failed to sustain the two of them, for better or worse. However, they concur that it was a highly beneficial period, not only for them, but also because they welcomed Zoe into the world, and they attribute much of their personal development to that relationship. Officially, the couple divorced in 1993 on terms that were acceptable to all parties so as to avoid any harm. Dad and Mom. Bonet, similar to her own daughter, was born into the entertainment industry. Her father, Alan, was the reason for this. He was a prosperous opera singer. However, an additional aspect of her own adolescence that she shares with her daughter is that her parents separated when she was a minor. Bonet primarily resided with her mother, Arlene, in Los Angeles, following their divorce. However, she also spent a portion of her childhood in New York. However, following Arlene's death in 1998, Lisa assumed full-time custody of her father. Similar challenges. The actress from The Cosby Show disclosed that she frequently repressed and internalized all of her emotions regarding securing roles and being of mixed race. It was as she put it herself when she stated that the world simply wasn't ready. Zoe continues to confront similar sorts of challenges in the present day. The actress inquired as to why it appeared that only white people are subject to unbelievable stories. Everyone else is a punchline. Extremely crushing. But despite the fact that Bonet encountered these challenges by virtue of being herself, that did not detract from the fact that she maintained an enormous fan base and was still immensely popular. Specifically, one of those admirers happened to be the individual with whom she ultimately entered into matrimony. Her performance as Denise on the program prompted Jason Momoa, then 8 years old, to meet his future wife. Already at such a young age, the actor had an instantaneous understanding that he desired to be with her. He even claims to have indicated the television and declared to his mother, "I want that one." And he resolved to persevere until he achieved his goals, which he duly accomplished when presented with the chance to meet his ideal woman. Leela Coy. Bonet, shortly after her divorce from Lenny Kravitz in 1995, executed a noteworthy decision by legally altering her name. She appeared in court and affixed her signature to every document required to become Leela Coy Moon. She continued to use her more recognizable previous name, however, in the credits for her television series. She explained that privacy considerations prompted her to begin to transition in the first place. Greetings from Paradise. Notably, the name she selected has a Hawaiian ring to it, And shortly after resolving this, she encountered an individual from Hawaii whose influence permanently altered the trajectory of her life. Indeed, as you may have surmised, the Aquaman heartthrob spent his youth being born and raised in Hawaii. Prior to becoming the beloved actor that we all know and love, he majored in marine biology before deciding to change his concentration to wildlife biology. After beginning his collegiate career in Iowa, he transferred to Colorado State. Momoa entered the acting industry professionally in 1999 with an appearance on Baywatch, Hawaii. Emerging star. Momoa consistently portrayed Ronan, the combatant in Stargate Atlantis from 2005 to 2009. It was an ongoing jest among those who collaborated with him on the program that his character was their own interpretation of Chewbacca from Star Wars. Thus, the tendency to stereotype Momoa nations as warriors who were ruggedly attractive and mildly humorous commenced. The consequent role he played, which he assumed when appointed as Conan in the 2011 film Conan the Barbarian, was comparable in this regard. The Game of Thrones. He was cast in his next significant role, HBO's Game of Thrones, later that year. Momoa was cast in the role of Khal Drogo, an additional character who shared similarities with those he had previously portrayed. In fact, the commander of the Dothraki had considerable difficulty securing alternative roles for a considerable period of time thereafter, due to the fact that he spoke no English and acted like an uncouth barbarian. Fortunately, his subsequent endeavor was to co-write the 2014 film Road to Paloma, which allowed him to reveal an undiscovered aspect of himself to the world. Commencement of the DC Universe. Game of Thrones is an immensely popular television series, and Jason Momoa had already begun to amass a respectable fan base at that juncture. He secured the role of Aquaman in Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice in 2016, which propelled him into the main categories alongside major motion picture actors. Furthermore, his character was the subject of a film adaptation a short couple of years later, owing to his immense popularity. However, his professional journey was in its nascent stages at that time. He had absolutely no idea how enormous it would grow to be. Forthcoming works. Aquaman was not the end of Momoa's activities. Zendaya and Dave Bautista also included him in the ensemble of the 2021 science fiction film Dune. The movie's an adaptation of a novel written by Frank Herbert in 1965. The Aquaman actor portrays Duncan Idaho, the House Atreides swordmaster. He's also made a comeback to the screen in the Apple series See, where he portrays Baba Voss, the leader of a group or tribe in a desolate future society, in another warrior role. As Weighing Bells. In 2005, Momoa and Lisa Bonet became an official couple. Even 2 years after the couple initially disclosed their romantic relationship to the public, rumors circulated that they had entered into matrimony. Nevertheless, it transpired that they were merely conjecture. It is true that these celebrities wed, but only after dating for over a decade and a half. The occasion. Upon the momentous occasion of their matrimonial union, the couple made every effort to conceal the proceedings from the press. They had a very private ceremony in their California residence in 2017 in the presence of close family and friends. Unfortunately, the information had already been released, so it was only a matter of time before everyone learned about it. However, given the prevailing assumption that they were already married, the news was hardly unexpected. Beyond that, Momoa had referred to Bonet as his bride for a period of 10 years. Regarding parenting. Lisa Bonet is a firm believer in going natural and adopting a holistic perspective. She is in fact so attuned to nature that a major commandment for the children is to not watch television. As she stated, "I am adamant that we maintain the greatest possible absence of media." She adores the fact that children are encouraged to use their imaginations more due to the lack of television, just as she did during her youth. "I adore the fact that they can play independently for hours while constructing paper airplanes," she remarked in one interview. Regarding co-parenting. As parents, Bonet and Momoa are a formidable duo, and she appreciates his alpha male position within the partnership. She genuinely admires Jason's exemplary parental qualities after Bonet's father's infrequent presence during her childhood caused her to feel vulnerable. Her enumeration of the numerous qualities she adores about him is virtually infinite. Personally, charisma and accountability are included. This further demonstrates that Aquaman is a man. Lucid Alpha. She further elaborated that although Bonet has described Momoa as a dominant male and described him as the type to pick her up and throw her over his shoulder, that in no way makes him as harsh as his character on Game of Thrones implies. What is the former wildlife biology major's opinion of the coerced sequence he performed with Daenerys? He reported, "It's one of the most difficult tasks I've ever had to complete. One must establish a mental distance from it. It's abhorrent, but such is the nature of Khal Drogo." He also stated, "Emilia is an individual whom I continue to hold in high regard." An all-new beginning? By means of an Instagram post published in January 2022, Bonet and Momoa unexpectedly informed the world of their separation. However, the announcement was written in a manner that closely reflected the couple's persona. The couple, firm believers in both the enigmatic workings of the universe and love, declared that their marriage had ended, but that their affections were merely undergoing a transformation. They conveyed their deep love and commitment to each other and their family, and courteously inquired about this novel stage of their lives that was not in the public eye. We fervently wish that they reconcile or relocate to an alternative sanctuary characterized by tranquility and joy. Based on our familiarity with them, we're confident that they'll be fine.